Absolutely. I'll give an update while you're doing that. And I think the main reason we were meeting today is just to, again, I feel like everybody here, I'm preaching to the choir, but tomorrow is an important day, at least for us Democrats, right? Because we do believe in the process of voting early, voting on time. So I think sharing the resources will be helpful there. The only update that I did want to share with you all is that we are planning to do our retreat in December. We are planning on doing this in Houston. So it would be helpful if folks can start giving dates that would work for you. If you're not able to attend, we will offer parts of the retreat in a hybrid model so that you can be there at least virtually and still, hear parts of it and contribute. But there's nothing like being in person. The goal would be to do maybe like at least 3 to 5 hours together, have lunch, meeting Houston. And at least for myself, I know I can provide travel to some folks from the Dallas area. In the past, we suggested the first or the second weekend of December. So something for folks to start thinking about. But that'll be my update. The retreat is helpful because our team, the executive team, just gets together. If you attend, you get lucky and you actually get the first shirts of the IPC. So you'll be part of the crew that gets the OG shirts. We're also planning on having we call it go bag, but really a bag that has a tablecloth, some literature, some sign-up sheets. Our intention is to start going to all the powwows happening in Texas. I know our executive team is going to try to go to the ones in their region. We have the DFW, Houston Metro, and Austin, San Antonio area covered, but I know it would be very helpful to have folks that can attend the Rio Grande and the border town powwows. And especially I know Dr. Ana Perez is going to be kind of attending the ones in El Paso area. So if there's folks that want to sign up for those too, that'll be helpful. There's also the Chautauqua Nation one. Chautauqua Nation is happening in Oklahoma, but if folks want to do a drive, I'm happy to to drive folks from Dallas. So the intention is that we have at least 2 members at every powwow. That way we can engage with the community. We can show them that we are there. We can provide them information if it's before voting, but really we can keep them engaged. I think the goal is to do relationship building, right? And community building. And it takes time to build trust. So it's important for us to show up, to provide our hands, our brains, our feet, and to show them that we're there, right? As a resource for them. So how does that sound? Do folks interested in showing up to the powwows? Great. Great. Executive team, do we have any other updates from any of y'all? Or do we have any questions about the retreat or suggestions?
Alicia's got her hand up.
I was just curious, besides myself and of course my husband, but am I the only one within the region that is a member of the IPC?
We may have a few more members from the Rio Grande Valley. I think it's just a matter of checking our list. And I mean, it's election time, so a lot of folks are probably really busy right now.
Very busy, yeah.
Right, but we can make sure that if you decide to become a point person for the powwows, we can, if you cannot join the retreat, we can mail you the tablecloth, the literature, and everything, so you have it ready, so you can sign up for some of them and go. Usually, we do have to email the powwows ahead of time so they approve us to have a table, especially because we are partisan. So it's important for us to get the permission required. But then, secondly, once you have everything to attend the powwows, I think the intention is also to promote them on the Native American groups on Facebook and such. I would say, Mia, we are in close contact with the Carrizo Come Crudo tribe, which is more in the Rio Grande Valley area. Right now, they're having a lot of issues with SpaceX and Boca Chica, which will be closer to Brownsville, Corpus Christi area. There's not that many environmental impact assessments there for the SpaceX launches, and they are causing either fires, there's waste contamination, pollution. So we are pushing and we're supporting them push TCEQ and the EPA to regulate those areas a bit more. So I can talk to you more in the future about this. I know Juan Macias is, they're having a film that's going to be premiere next year. So I think the goal would be for us to try to go with them and be part of those screenings across Texas.
Fortunately for you all, they do their powwows in Floresville. But for myself, I know that the Labachi tribe has some down here in the valley, and I don't know where, or well, at least in the McAllen area. But I was just wanting to see if there was like support of others from the valley. So
Then you also have the
thank you.
coastal band that do have a powwow in October. I want to say that I think they had one already this past October, right there. The coastal band Indigenous People. They had one. They have one in Corpus. I think I want to say it's not September, October. They really had one, but they have a powwow there. And in regards to powwows, Rogelio, Rojo, the one on November the 9th at the AT&T Discovery area, I think I heard from Jody Yellowfish. They do not like partisan groups. So she never gave me an answer about us. I asked her about if we could have a table there, and she never did give me an answer. So I'm
It's all
assuming
right.
the answer.
We can follow up with folks, Martin. I think what will be helpful is actually if we had a meeting for the events committee after the election. That way we can create a spreadsheet with all the powwows for next year. I feel like this year may be a little too late. We can still try to make some of them, but I would rather us start going next year so that we all have our shirts, our materials, and we are, well prepared for all those tabling events. Also, I'm working on stickers, folks. So the goal is that your table has stickers, literature, and as you know, our shirts will be a way to fundraise.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if anybody here is good at slogans, we need a slogan for the back of our shirt. We were thinking fighting for land back, but if anybody has, better ideas or something more Texas, let us know. Kristen, would you like to go a little bit over the?
Yeah. So I've been dropping some of the information in the chat that's from our most recent county party chronicles from the state Democratic Party. And so they really want us to share the information for mytexasvotes.com for people who need more information about voting. But at this point in time, it's also really important to share the voter assistance hotline phone number. So make sure you guys save the hotline number. If you come across any problems in your community, that's the number to share with people. I know Harris County has their own phone number. And I can try to grab that, but I think state party does not cover Harris County because they are so large and they do a good job of managing their own. So let me quick grab theirs as well. But there's also the Texas Offense. It sounds like they are doing phone banking weekly. It looks like it's just evenings and then weekends. I had gotten a call from them. They didn't have any daytime phone banks, but the last link I put on there was you can sign up to host a phone bank in your county. So if the evenings or weekends doesn't work for you, it sounds like you're able to sign up and do one at a time that works for you. And then there's some trainings links to trainings I put on here. Probably the poll watcher training would be good to take, as well as the hotline training for if you have any questions, or if any of your friends have questions about voting. But probably the coordinated campaigns and the National Democratic Training Committee are less important links at this point in time. So make sure you save the hotline number, sign up for the Texas Offense if you'd like to do any of the phone banking. Save that link if you want to create your own phone bank if their schedule doesn't work for you. And then probably that poll watcher training so you can, when you're voting yourself, if you see anything, make sure you say something. And let me go get the Harris County Democratic Party link.
And while
I
you're
don't know if
doing
do we,
that,
go ahead.
no. I was going to say while you were doing that, I was going to go ahead and bring up something else. Like I was telling my clerks, I asked every single one of my clerks to go through the poll watcher training. So by the time they can come in tomorrow, all my clerks are already trained for as poll watchers, so they can see whatever's going on, and they can see what if there's an issue. All they have to do just tell me about it, and I'll address it right away because they're already alert of what a poll watcher is supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. They already went through the training. They already bringing me the certificate that's telling me that they already went through it. All my poll workers are. I have to bring me the certificate that they already went through the poll watcher training to me and bring it to me and say that they did it. Just like if a poll watcher would come to your polling location, they have to bring you the poll watcher training certificate plus the certificate, the assignment already filled out. They cannot fill it out there at the poll. They have to already have it filled, signed by the person who's hiring them, and then they sign it right there in front of you. They cannot do anything else. It cannot be signed before you walk in that door. Your signature cannot be on that certificate until you give it to the election judge or whoever the judge is at that moment. You have to sign it in front of the judge. And if it's signed, you can tell them bye bye. You can refuse their service, and you're documented why you refused their service, and it's the law. So that's my little tidbit I have to say as an election judge. Oh, and I am at North Lake here in Dallas, in Irving, Taylor.
Gotcha. Thanks. I was just curious.
I put the link the phone number for the Harris County Democratic Party voter protection hotline in the chat. So do we have anybody here from Harris County tonight? Just me, that's all right.
No, I'm from Harris County.
Oh, I knew, I forgot.
I'm here.
Awesome. Well, are we missing anything? What else? Yes, go ahead, Mia.
I did put in the chat for vote writers if you know anybody who may need a ride or help with getting an ID. Obviously, it's like only like 14 days until till the election, but if they need a ride, vote writers, that's all there's the helpline and the free help link in case they need to get to the polls. I mean, I know that Al was saying that in his region they're gonna be busing people, but for those outside, that I'd share, follow them on Instagram. There's a the Texas organizer is Vicente Martinez, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that was his last name. But yes, Vicente Martinez Jr. and he is a Texas coordinator. He, him, él. And you could always reach out to him via the Instagram page and for Texas, and he can help in any way for anybody throughout the state who might need a ride to the polls.
And then here in the Dallas area, since we do have DART, our bus service will give you a free ride to your poll and send you back as long as you have your voter registration card with you. and say that you're going to the polls. They will take you on a free ride because normally they're not supposed to. But if you're going to the polls, you get a free ride. I don't know if Austin is doing that or Houston is doing that, but I know Dallas is doing it, giving them free rides to the polls.
Would be nice if anybody, even the smaller towns, with citywide bus service would be able to do that, or be willing to do that, I should say. They're all able to.
I think they're supposed to do it. I think it's a federal thing that they're supposed to be able to do that, give you rights to the polls. As long
Okay,
as you have your voter registration card. But you all got to talk to your
yeah,
transit company just to make
yeah,
sure they're following that federal law.
yeah, that would be something good to check on, actually. Thank you.
I don't know what time everybody else's polls are open. Ours, this starting tomorrow till Friday, ours are open 8 to 5 here in Dallas County. And then Saturday, of course, it's 7 to 7. Sunday, it's 12 to 6. And our last week is 7 to 7. So I don't know what everybody else is at because I know some counties are different. I think I saw Jim Wells County their schedule is so crazy. And it's only at the Jim Wells County Courthouse that they have polling location. And yeah, it's a small county. Yes. No says mala mia.
I'm not part of those big counties like Dallas or, Houston. I know Hidalgo County will be open from 7 to 7 Monday through Saturday, 12 to 6, 12 to 6 or 12 to 4 Sunday, 7 to 7 Monday through Friday, and then 7 to 7 again election day. And then Cameron County gets a little weird, and so does Star, and so does Willacy. So
It seems weird that, and I mean, this is just having participated in working elections other places, it seems weird that it's not consistent throughout the state because even under the best circumstances, it's often confusing enough, and when you have every county putting up their own hours, like I think ours are the same as the ones Martin just read off, but I'm not sure about the Sunday. Somebody had asked me about that, so I have to check on that. But yeah, I mean, you would think it would be a statewide requirement since everything else in voting is a statewide requirement.
Yeah. Well, Al, in regards to that, they make that in regards to Commissioner's Court makes the schedule. They're the ones who decide what time everything is. But our Commissioner's Court that we have right now, currently, it's all a Democratic Dallas County Commissioner's Court. So it's how we want it.
Yeah.
And
No,
we
I mean,
approve
I
it.
know I'm not, and I know, the Commissioner's Court basically are the ones who, pick the polling areas. But, in terms of hours, you would think that it would be better for voters if that was consistent throughout the state. It's just my humble opinion.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, we
not,
have 71 locations open tomorrow, starting tomorrow here in Dallas County. I don't know. How many do y'all have over there, Rojo in Tarrant County?
I'm not sure if Taylor wanted to share something. I think I heard them. And to answer you, I believe it's 51.
yeah, Rojo,
Yeah.
that sounds right. Um, No, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it also has to do with like limited county resources since, the state also doesn't fund counties and elections as much as they should. So for smaller counties, limiting those hours can help. Not that, it's great ideally, but possibly one other reason. Also, hi Sabrina, welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor. And yeah, it's 51. I confirm because I forgot that we were fighting to try to keep those open. But anyways, all right. So what is there anything else that we have on the agenda or any other comments that anybody would like to make? Also, hi Sabrina. Would you like to introduce yourself? Give you some space.
Hello, my name is Sabrina Robertson. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. We went over some of the documents that were shared on the County Chronicles sent this Friday by the party. And just providing some information. It seems like everybody here made a plan to go vote tomorrow, right? There you go. No, with me this year, I'm trying something different, and with the two clubs that I'm part of on campus, we're gonna go to as many classes as possible. So we have confirmed already with 10 professors, and the goal is to go to all the classes they are teaching, just to remind people where the voting site is on campus and the documents they may need. So there's a lot of excitement into actually mobilizing people. But to keep it realistic, I tell folks that as long as you get 3 people, right? Like your parents, your family members, I think that's the least that we can do. Confirm 3 people around us to show up and vote, make the plan. Exactly,
also
Mia.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I know we already covered hotlines and stuff, but I do feel obligated to share. So I work for Texas Civil Rights Project, and we're part of the nonpartisan Texas Election Protection Coalition, which runs their own hotline, which is 866 our vote. And I don't know a ton about the party's hotline. I'm sure it's great as well. But we have lots of both volunteer and staff attorneys answering those calls and handling issues. So if you are in a nonpartisan space and you need a resource to share, that's a great one. And if y'all see anything crazy and are not maybe getting through on the other hotline or something, feel free to let me know and I can help escalate.
Taylor,
Also,
sorry, I was gonna ask you real quick. Do you know if they're gonna put up signs like they did last election? So I didn't see any in one of the polling locations.
yeah, I feel like I should know the answer to that. I guess not. I know we had talked about it possibly, but I feel like they would be up by now. I know we're doing like lots of different ads, like digital ads, but streaming and like I saw one on Instagram the other day and things like that. But I don't know about billboards. But yeah.
Great. And I believe that our next meeting is after the election. I do expect this to get a little crazy for the days after the election. So if anybody knows where it's best to support, I know that often folks need, at least I remember working the Cisneros campaign, and they often needed support with people that had to trace their ballots, right? Since we were counting them one by one, really at the end of the race. So if anybody here knows where support is needed right after the election, let us all know on Slack. That way we can, join or we can support with that. I know for me, at least, we were calling a lot of people to check before the deadline, since I think what happened with Ken Paxton with 1 million folks on the that were registered. For my case, I received a call, and some of I think it's called Seed the Vote. I helped them before for different races, and they're trying to fly a lot of folks to Phoenix to help. Apparently, they need support in Maricopa County. So if anybody here or knows anybody that is interested in actually going out of state, I can connect you with them. They're trying to get as many people as possible out there. So yeah, they can provide housing, food, and everything, and I believe even the flight. So if anybody feels like maybe going to a battleground state, let me know.
Did you want that sent to you via email, Serena? Because I see you saying something about not being able to copy it, the links.
Maybe if we can also share them on Slack and the Facebook, that way folks can have access to them in different forms. Wondering if there's anything else for the agenda, or if anybody has anything else they would like to discuss. Otherwise, we'll start wrapping up.
Rajo, maybe we can hear from folks if they want to tell us what types of volunteer work they've been doing leading up to the elections, or if they are working the polls.
That's great. Let's do it.
I can lead off for so I've been putting together these events that are gonna be like mom-centered events, since it's kind of a demographic that oftentimes gets stuck at home, or you're stuck with the kids and it's hard to get to the polls with your kids. And so we're basically gonna do like a brunch and a caravan to the polls. Because I noticed that there's a lot of like fellow mom friends that are not frequent voters. So I want to make sure I'm dragging everybody to the polls with me this time. But so that seems to be going well. Anyone else want to share? Alicia, your hand.
Alicia's hand is up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say block walking for the Texas offensive. But Kristen, I actually know somebody in the Montgomery County area, closer to your neck of the woods, that might be interested in your event.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, just
She's a political
send them my
science
contact.
major. She might be interested in getting involved. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll go next, I guess. Well, like I said, I've before to October 7th, I think my group that I had about 9 or 10 VDRs, and I think we actually registered somewhere almost 400 to 500 people, and several events that we did. We also did one for citizenship swearing in ceremony. We did a whole bunch. We had several other groups with us there, and we all registered all the people who were being sworn in that day. So, and they were actually able to register to who will be able to vote in this election because it was before October 7th, before the deadline. So all these people that just became citizens are going to be able to vote at their very first election, this one. Plus, besides doing all that, of course, I'm going to be working the polls tomorrow as an election judge. So I got my staff already ready to go. So, yeah. And then anybody else? Whoever else wants to go next?
For myself, well, and even for Rogelio, he had to step out, but he block walked with Seed the Vote. Or no, I'm sorry, the Common Power came down to the valley, and he helped. He block walked with them for Michelle and Vicente. And then him with Common Defense has been, registered. We're both VDR, so we've been registering people to vote. How many? I can't say because I don't have my paperwork with me, but we've been registering people to vote. I've just been pushing. We also have a proposition that is happening within my city, so we've been pushing that. That way people don't forget it. And
Don't worry, Philip, he's already picked on me.
yes, I was gonna say you pick on them both.
Philip, we were also sharing like some of the people were choosing to share some of the volunteer work they were doing leading up to the elections, or if you're working the polls. You're an election judge or a poll worker, is that right?
In my case, I'm not doing any of that.
Oh, okay.
I'm helping other groups, and some candidates help get the vote out. One's Congressional District 15, the other one House.
You came out, Philip, I don't know.
Yeah, I think your audio dropped out.
Can you hear us, Al? Philip?
I think the government's censoring him.
I think so. Don't want him to talk.
I don't want him to talk, especially maybe Monica's listening in from 15. Oh.
I've been mostly, well, for a while, I wasn't doing a whole lot of anything, or at least not a lot of door walking while I recuperated from my convention injury. But I am, hey, gotta fight the good fight. I've been working with we have a local House of Representatives state house candidate, and I've been trying to help them out. I think she's got a good chance, actually. And I mean, she's doing what she needs to do. She's out there, you know. I mean, she's really running. You know, she's not somebody who just stepped up and said, "Oh, you know, I think I'll run." I mean, she really is serious about it. She knows the issues. She's going places, you know. I mean, going places. She's going to locations. Hopefully, she's going places also. But
who's the candidate?
I forgot her name.
Really?
Yeah. Marlena Cooper. She's running
Yeah, I think you're wearing her shirt, aren't you?
This is my shirt.
Well, you know what I mean, the candidate's shirt.
But actually, if anybody knows anybody in this area, they're actually maybe looking to hire some help these last 2 weeks. So yeah, you can let me know. But anyway, you know, yesterday she did 3 sort of press events, I guess. She went up to 3 local courthouse. Well, the 3 counties that actually she'll be serving: Gray County, Marion County, which is Jefferson area, and Harrison County, which is Marshall, and well, it's Marshall and environs. And she did little press stops there and talk to people. And strangely enough, a Trump train followed her from county to county. So yeah, it's nice to have nothing better to do, right? But they came down the street in Marshall, and I guess they thought they were going to be able to interrupt her while she was speaking, you know. But she actually hadn't started yet, you know. And so they all went past, and so everybody went out in their Marlena shirts and kind of waved to them. I waved too, but I didn't. I gave a more traditional wave, let's say 1930s, circa 1930s wave, if you get my drift.
You flew the birdie.
But you know, whatever.
Gotta be nice, Philip. Al. Gotta be nice,
I
Al.
am not known for being nice, actually, which is one of the reasons I had to move out of Virginia.
Hey, anyway, I do have an update for what I heard in regards to that situation that we had in House District 80. Selena Castaneda and former mayor Dan McLaughlin from Uvalde. Yes, it is the same Dan McLaughlin who was the Uvalde mayor. That when his children got killed, and they did nothing about it. But what I found out, they prosecuted all these people. They raided their houses because they were saying they were harvesting boats. Well, it just popped up in the out there in the TEC that Mayor Don McLaughlin is actually harvesting boats in Laredo, El Cenizo, and Rio Bravo. He has paid somewhere over $79,000 to harvest boats, but they're not doing anything about it. So, oh well. But it is, he is paying people to get that. Uh-oh. Phillips, strong. Can you talk, Philip?
Can you
He's
hear me
having
now?
technical difficulty.
I can hear you. I
There
can
you
hear
go.
you.
Yay, it
Okay, well,
works.
okay. Something went wrong with the volume here, so I'm back. Martin, well, that's one of the districts I've been meeting with a group of people. We've been working on that particular district. That's the one that Manuel Medina was the consultant to the candidate, the Democratic candidate. His house remember his house got broken down by 40 officers. They came into they smashed the front door. He ended up looking at a barrel automatic weapon. About 40 officers entered his house, confiscated all his phones, his kids' phones, his computers, everything. On the alternative side, the lady Lydia, I can't remember her name, LULAC activist, also in San Antonio, her house was raided, and she got raided by about 6 officers. They just threw her out of her pajamas in the street when they went through her house. On another one, I talked to Cecilia herself. She was raided. They took her information. They end up confiscating her phone and everything else. And since she does not have an attorney, a pro bono attorney has stepped in to help her. But in the meantime, because she's been accused of having been involved with people that were perhaps involved with border harvesting, supposedly, her business is working with government contracts. On the state contract job, she said she's been escorted off the job sites. They're trying to hurt her business now. And I also heard rumors that the people of Medina and Atascosa County, when they were raided, they were required to give DNA samples. Saliva test. I think the intent is somebody claims somebody looked at the envelope for some voter and everything else. So that's the information that they're trying to collect DNA samples off the election workers. That's what I know about that particular house district rating.
Philip, somebody had told me that also, and I wasn't sure of the validity of it, but it sounds like yes, it's true. But so what's their excuse for collecting DNA samples?
It's unclear. And by the way,
Okay.
on the information on the DNA samples, I got it from another attorney through an anonymous source information.
Okay.
But on the Cecilia's warrant, she read the warrant on there. The only thing that referenced the warden when they went into her house, and I looked up the number, had to do with the procedure. Nowhere in the warrant that she got served indicate what they were looking for. Usually, if you get a search warrant, it says, because we believe you have this or that. It was that particular information was blank. The only thing making a reference to a citation. The citation, basically, you look it up, and I have my notes somewhere at the office, has to do with the procedure, how to serve a warrant. But according to her warrant does not have any detailed information why or what they were looking for. All I know, she has not got her information back, or why her business is now being, she's now being audited by the state. She's also being escorted off her company's business, has been escorted job sites, that type of stuff. She reported to us.
Ken Paxton needs to be brought up on charges.
I concur.
Was this the older woman who's in the Uvalde County?
No, the older woman was Lydia. I can't remember her last name, from San Antonio, Bexar County. All she does is help older people, disabled home, registered voters. But nobody, as far as I know, was involved in let me put it this way: ballot harvesting is not illegal in many states in the United States. However, in Texas, they made it supposedly illegal. But it involves basically, if another person helps the elderly person fill out the information, they're supposed to file all the kind of paperwork and also sign. And they're not supposed to deliver the ballot to the mailbox other than that person is supposed to deliver, not nobody else. No surrogate party will be involved. Okay, that's my information on House District 80.
What's interesting is that, I guess, was it last year or the year before, they had sort of ramped up the ballot harvesting legislation. And then after they made like a couple of arrests or whatever, actually we had somebody who was arrested here in Gregg County. They then sort of backed it back down because, I mean, I guess they felt like they got what they needed to out of it, and maybe figured that sooner or later they're going to have to arrest a Republican. I don't know. But, yeah, it's weird. I mean, just this whole, this invasion seems so over the top. And that's what it is. I mean, it's Paxton sent out, his stormtroopers.
In my opinion, and this is my words only, that this is pure voter intimidation. The state LULAC, the League of United Latin American Citizens, out of the state office, national office, has pretty well confirmed the same thing. This is pure voter intimidation. Manuel Medina, other than a consultant, has been also the current chair for the state House Democrats statewide. That's why his house was hit with 40 officers. So my guess, somebody's trying to send him a message to back down, slow down, or else, something along the line will happen.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious. It's voter intimidation. So my guess is this is deliberate. The intent is to try to silence people. Now, as you understand, I just sent y'all the, I believe, information on the, as you remember, they purged 1 million people. Right now in Texas, we have like 30.6 million people in Texas, and I believe we have like 18.3 million registered voters. I think I attached, and I hope it went through, the database that shows by county who is registered by county, who is in the suspense list. But see if you get that in your text messages. Let me see if I did it right. I hope I didn't send something by mistake. There you go. On your text message, you should have the 2024 voter registration list as of that March, by county, by number of precincts, by number of registered voters, the number that have been suspended, and the actual people current. Now that number, if you go to the very bottom, it showed like 15 point something million. As of this past couple of months, it's sitting close to 18.3 million. So even this is March March 2024 data is old. If you go straight to the bottom, as I think it shows 15 point something million registered voters that are eligible. Yeah, 15.8 statewide. We have 2.1 million that are currently what's referred to in suspense. When you're under suspense, and Martin can help you understand this, if you have not voted basically in the last 2 presidential election cycles, you could be subject to be removed. However, the caveat is here. You're supposed to be notified. Are you still at this address where you reside at? You're supposed to respond. If you don't respond, they assume that you have either moved, died, or perhaps in the country illegally. And they purge about 1 million people off the list. In several states, this has happened. However, what has happened is several district judges have fought the different states for doing that because they did it in not the allowed prescribed time frame. Like you cannot remove anybody like 90 days prior in some states, but I can't recall what the requirement here in Texas is.
What did you say about the 90-day requirement? About
Okay, in
being a
some
record?
states, not Texas, in some states, you cannot remove anybody off the suspense list for 90 days.
Yeah, I
For
think
90
that's
days.
like a National Voter Registration Act law.
Yeah.
That you can't do the routine list maintenance
Yeah,
within 90 days.
but in Texas, you're supposed to, each individual county is supposed to notify those people who are on the suspense list to verify if that's their current information. I believe that's not being done. It's kind of doing the putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, they're supposed to, but I don't know if that actually gets through to everyone.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true in any state where they
Yeah,
actually.
I don't think so. It is. But if you do have somebody that comes in front of you that is suspended, you still can vote a regular ballot. All we got to do is just give you a statement of residence. You fill it out, and we trade. You give us a statement of residence, we give you a ballot, and you're able to vote a regular ballot. That's it, and then you're back on the post, back on the roster.
I have a question. So you mentioned that if you didn't vote in 2 federal elections, you are purged out of the voter roll or put on a suspense status. What if you voted in a municipal race or school board? Wouldn't that constitute you voting in an election, or do it have to be a federal?
Let me clarify that. It means you have not voted in either state, federal, local, state election within 2 presidential cycles. The state of Texas refers to something that goes from governor's race to governor's race to governor's race type thing. But basically, if you have not voted, period, in 2 federal election cycles, you can be purged.
Right. But like you were saying that you voted in a municipal election, that counts. You're good.
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, that's what I was thinking. And I was on a Zoom with a grassroots organization discussing the voter suspense list. And they were just saying, you can go here and check this link or whatever. So I was using the link so I could share it with others, and come to my surprise, I was on the suspense list. That's what I said, Kristen. And so I was like, well, I just voted in our school board election, like this past May. So I know that's a lie, but for whatever reason, I was placed on the suspense list. So I was really curious to know how or why people were put on the suspense list. And what I'm learning, there are people that have been purged because the election workers inadvertently misidentified voters in some cases. So really wanted to get some more insight when you say 2 federal cycles, because because I mean, if you voted in between those times in a municipal, local, school board, or what have you, you voted.
Mhm.
So just trying to get clarity. So thank you.
every election office, election administrator, whoever is in charge, they purge people monthly. Most of them are either related to they moved out of the state, or there's a death, you have a death certificate, and they purge people out. Now, what's there are people who have become naturalized, who were undocumented, who became naturalized citizens. They register to vote. However, the way the system is, it doesn't catch up with them. And when they do the investigation, they found out supposedly people that were illegal or undocumented people working or voting are actually naturalized citizens. They're naturalized. But getting back to the situation, I believe once again they made an attempt to get the cart in front of the horse. They're purging people up front, so that way when you go to the polling place, and Martin's correct, if you show up to the polling place and your name's not on the list, you can vote, but you will vote a provisional ballot. The problem with provisional ballots, you have 6 days to cure a provisional ballot. In other words, they let you vote. Your envelope goes into a white secrecy envelope, in turn goes into another envelope, goes into a green envelope, and that's sent over with the ballots for that election night. The provisional ballots will be reviewed. Well, first they'll see if the judge actually correctly fill out the green envelope, the provisional envelope. And one trick that they were doing, the Republican Party was doing, was you can fill out that green envelope, and if you leave off the precinct number, that green envelope, provisional ballot, dead on arrival. If you failed to put the election date, that green envelope, provisional ballot, is dead on arrival. If the election judge does not check off the correct boxes, that green envelope is basically dead on arrival. And one of the tricks the Republicans were doing a couple of election cycles in, they're working in a general election, because we came across this problem, and we County Church Association, and we came across problems where the election judges were trained to accidentally forget something on the envelope. So you will, for example, typically, if you have a medium county, you may have like 100 ballots that are provisional. When you get to count them, about 80 to 85% were dead on arrival because they were missing the precinct number, the date, or the alternate judge was not being observant what the Republican judge is doing, but they were killing ballots that way. That's one of the
And
tricks
worst
that they
of
were
all, if they don't sign the provisional ballot,
doing.
judge does not sign it, it's like dead on arrival automatically. Because if you don't sign it, well, I got lucky because I accidentally forgot to sign one, and that county party called me, and I went to go sign the one that I forgot. And that ballot became active once I signed it, and they looked at it and they passed it, and it was counted. So
Is there
yeah,
any way for a voter to know that like their green envelope or whatever was filled out correctly, or is that like you give back the ballot and you really have no idea?
once they turn it in, they don't ever see that ballot again.
Well,
Yes and
I
no.
mean, in terms of provisional ballots, though, usually the voter has to go down to their registrar and correct the issue in person, right?
Correct. That's
Correct.
what's called a killer ballot. We're curing a ballot.
Yeah.
But there's there's two different kinds of ballots, provisional ballots. One that you have to go, one that you don't have to go. So there's two times. Only one time that you have to cure it. The other one you don't have to cure because it's automatically cured. If somebody forgets.
Oh, you mean, is that what you were talking about earlier, where somebody
Yes.
could do an address change or whatever?
Yeah,
Correct.
well, that's a statement of residence. You don't get a provisional ballot for that. You get a real
Right.
ballot for that. The statement of residence, and that's something that Ms. Robinson needs to also remember. If she's got a ballot, if she is currently been suspended, all she needs to go, or her friend is suspended, go to you're still on the roll. You're just suspended. Just go to your polling location, wherever it may be, and tell them you want a ballot. Refuse a provisional ballot. If they want to give you a provisional ballot, tell them no, you are required to get a regular ballot. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. You have not been removed off the roster, you've just been suspended. With you filling out a statement of residence, makes it say that you are you and you are there and you want to vote a regular ballot.
Can you say
End of
that
story.
again? Like, okay, so what's the example? Like, I'm walking in and they say, "Oh, your voter registration is suspended." Then what do I say?
Okay.
One second. I was gonna say, if it's possible, could maybe this be provided so we can make it into a graphic too? I know I'm meeting with Lisha soon, so we can provide more graphics, with common asked questions. So I feel like somebody's taking notes, but just in case nobody is, could somebody maybe take notes and share those with us? Thank you so much, Kristen. I figured. And then I would just simply say,
Rogelio, you want me to go step by step?
yes, but one second. I was just gonna say, unfortunately, I do have to go get dinner. My mom is in town. So I'll be here, but I probably won't be as engaged. But if you'll need me for something, just feel free to also text me, okay? But I'll be out here. Go ahead.
I can go step by step, okay? Is that what you want, Kristen?
Yes, please.
Okay. You come in, you give your ID to the election clerk. They find you. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Hagee, you are suspended. Okay. So next thing they'll do is they're gonna tell you, I need you to fill out this green form. Here in Dallas, it's a green form. I don't know what it is everywhere else. It's called a statement of residence form. This is actually what it is. It's to correct your address, because that's probably what happened, or the Secretary of State decided just to suspend somebody, thinking that you were not there, you were gone, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, all you do, just fill out a statement of residence, fill it out, sign it, give it back to the clerk. I have my clerks do it. They say the judge is supposed to do it, but I give it to my clerks. So I give it to my clerks. My clerks, next thing they'll do, they'll give you a ballot, have you sign everything like normal. You get a ballot and you go vote and you're good. You're ready to rock. Does that answer anybody else's questions?
So if they try to give you a provisional ballot, you should say, "No, I need a."
Correct. You need a regular ballot.
Okay, just for everybody's benefit, I always train my election judges and clerks to identify a provisional voter when you first step in the polling place. I'll tell them it's pretty simple. People with them, they either have some form of ID already with them. A provisional voter, I said, you can tell right off the bat when they walk in, they have no clothes on. That'd be a nude voter showing up with no form of identification that you can identify who they are. So I would train them that way to get them out of the mindset, oh, they're a provisional ballot voter. No. If they walk in completely nude, naked, they're a provisional voter. If they have some kind of documentation, college ID, or anything else that we can identify by name on the polling list that show up on the list, and their names there, they are a registered voters. They may have a S at the end of their notation on their name. S means suspense. Doesn't mean it's illegal. It means that this county wants more information. Is this the correct address where you are? Have you recently remarried and changed your maiden name or something along that line? But a provisional voter is easy. I always tell the judges it's easy. If a new voter walks in, you pull out the green envelope, you're gonna have a provisional voter. You don't have those kind of situations 99.9 times time at a time at all. But yeah,
So if I'm hearing you, Philip, in Texas, the only time you would really need to vote provisionally was if you did not have ID.
correct. And your name was not on the list.
Unmute yourself, Mia. Mia's going to argue it.
Yeah, well, technically speaking, if you move from county to county and did not change that, you can vote provisionally.
No, but then you should vote a limited ballot.
Only during early
Oh,
voting. You can, if you're from a different county, you say you're traveling from El Paso to Fort Worth during early voting, and you forgot to vote early, and you're not going to get back to El Paso in time, you could possibly vote a limited ballot. A limited ballot basically is just any national type office that's universal. However, if you're a resident of Texas and be back, you can vote, and that can only happen during early voting. There's no such thing as a limited ballot during election day.
Correct.
I just wanted to say, because I actually did have somebody who moved from, I forget, I think they were from not Travis, it was somewhere. Oh, it was as simple as Cameron, from Cameron to Hidalgo, but they didn't have the transportation nor the time to go to Cameron County, so we allowed them to vote provisionally.
Yeah,
Because
but
it's
here's an
easier
issue.
that way for them to do it. They're already here, might as well. Don't ever say no. Don't
Okay.
ever say no, because then that's voter suppression, and you can't say that as a clerk.
Yeah,
I was a clerk, so
here's an issue with that, Mia. Is a person, let's say they're still registered in Cameron County, but here's the problem. They already moved. They already have residence in Hidalgo County. They have to vote in the Hidalgo County. They cannot go to Cameron County and vote. That's illegal. That's an illegal vote right there. They have to vote there, even if it's a provisional ballot. They have to vote there, because since they're not registered, they didn't move their registration, or they can go, like everybody says, to if Hidalgo County has a place they could go, and not everybody has limited ballots. Not every county has it. I don't know if Hidalgo County has a place that they can do that, but yeah,
well, they would have to go to the elections department.
yeah, okay,
And sometimes, for us, our county land wise is pretty big. So if you're
yes,
in Mercedes and you have to go to Edinburgh, don't have the vehicle to get there, but
you're SOL.
yes.
For the benefit of the group, I just put on the chat about 7 different manuals, current manuals that apply to this election, from poll watchers to everyday election, how to qualify the voters, the early ballot board, things along the line for your benefit. Because I've been using the same information for other groups to train people. But the manuals are there. If you look at the one that says qualifying the voter, everything you need to know, you're afraid to ask, is in that book. That will handle most likely every single scenario that you're going to run into, including provisional ballots.
Taylor, you may want to go off mute. I don't know if they saw it in the chat.
Yeah, so if very rare situation, but if someone had moved counties, didn't update their registration, and then went in, casted a provisional ballot during early voting, but then went to go cast a limited ballot, would they be able to? Or also, thank you, Sabrina, for joining us.
No, because they already cast a ballot.
Okay, gotcha.
That second ballot automatically becomes illegal because you already voted twice.
Gotcha. Even though that provisional is not going to count.
No, it could even count. It could count.
But if they're not a registered voter in that county, then they're not eligible, right?
But here's the thing. If they are in residence, if they already have a house in that that county where they voted a provisional ballot, that's home. That cannot go to where they're registered to vote.
Sure, but I guess
Yeah,
technically.
that's the law.
Yeah,
That's actually the law.
the exception here would be a college student. A college student, for example, may live in Hidalgo County, but goes to the University of Texas. The question, where did they vote? It depends what registration is. That's an example.
And that's when they have to mail in ballot. I know you're going to say that, Mia.
Oh, no. I was saying in the sense of that individual, I believe they were still registered in Cameron. They didn't change their address yet. So they had to vote in Cameron.
Or a mail in ballot.
Yes, and I
That's all.
and also talking about mail-in ballots, for those who actually have received their mail-in ballots and choose to want to vote in person, they can turn them into their judge. Just saying, in case you didn't know.
Yes, you can. You can bring them to us and we'll take it. We'll open up the envelope, put that ballot that says it's void
You put a
and
spoiled envelope.
cancel out spoiled and cancel out that mail-in ballot so you can vote a regular ballot right there and then. Yes, we do that too.
Philip, did you say you put a list of links in the chat?
No, PDF files. I'm sorry. PDF files.
Okay, but you said you had like 7 different
Yeah, I put about 7
manuals?
different PDF documents. I
They're all different
named them
handbooks.
alphabetical, so that way, instead of saying,
Which
for
file?
example,
I'm sorry, which file is it? Is that?
chat messages.
No, I know, but which? I mean, there's one that says important
Number
election
B,
dates.
I believe B
Scroll
would
up,
be
Al.
the,
They're all the way up. If you scroll up, yeah, you should see like he has them from like A to F,
yes.
from G. So there's different manuals that you can download and read if you want to be more informed. And these are the ones
The most current.
Yes.
The most
See,
current.
these are clerks, just a heads up.
I know the election just knows what to look for, but what if I wanted they know like
Because people think there's an election just no. Martina, I see it different. I see different type of groups of people that are trained. There's election day workers, there's judges and clerks, there's central counting station people, there's tabulation people, there's ballot resolution people, there's signature verification people, there is early ballot board, all kinds of different people that do different types of jobs.
There
And
are
when I was a county chair for the last 25 years, I was required to be proficient in all these manuals and train my workers.
I mean, there's even ADA specialist guys. So if you
That is correct.
you're being suppressed in any which way, shape, or form, you just simply call your elections department and let them know that they're not ADA compliant, and they will go out there and make sure that that polling site is.
But the PDF files I gave y'all basically in a nutshell give you everything you need to know about the upcoming general election procedural manuals they were afraid to ask.
And I see Rogelio's trying to hide over there, talking on the side of Mia, but we can still hear him.
Yes, he's there. He's watching the finals for the women's, the WNBA.
And
No,
I also threw in there what ballot harvesting is.
Thank you for all this, Philip. I do appreciate it. I need a refresher on it. But he was also saying as a veteran that there are some people that will falsify, but that's basically on the election judge to make sure that they're they're utilizing the correct voter ID, which I actually have. I have it here. No, not on me. My other wallet.
No, this is the
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yes, that's one of the ones we have on the list.
That's
we
one.
have a
Where's the
list.
other one? Where's the military?
We have 7 IDs that are required. There's 7 of them that state that the state of Texas says that we can use. And I'm saying there should be 8, including the one for the indigenous people.
Yes.
But
And we got approval, Martin, in my county, Caldwell County, just basically a few miles of San Marcos. We have what's called a job corps center. I'm also the current president of the LULAC chapter council within that group. We took them to task, and we had a meeting with the election administrator. We notified the LULAC, MALDEF, and everybody else, and took the county to task. And the state said that the Camp Gary Job Corps ID, since it's a federal closed campus, is identification for them to come vote, like a college student. So we added that type of ID to the list, it's like a subset of an ID.
that would
SOS.
Class B. That would be under Class B ID, so they would still get a provisional ballot.
No.
Yes.
No, they can vote. No.
Yes. No. No. Incorrect.
I wasn't told.
Incorrect on that, Mister.
I'm not going to argue the point.
Well, if you're all going to fight, I'm going to have to get off the call.
Yes. No, the reason I'm saying because we have already talked about that as we brought that up at our office at the county level, elections department. They said if they come in with an election, like the college ID, that is a provision. That is a Class B license, not like ID, not a Class A license. So they are still not allowed to vote a regular ballot. They have to vote a provisional ballot because it's not an exact ID.
But that would count for declaration of reasonable impediment, right?
Yes.
If they hadn't had that ID, then they could still cast a regular ballot.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, you're right. Incorrect. I am incorrect. My
Nice.
bad. Sorry, Philip.
You tell him, Taylor.
No, we have to wait for Taylor to put us both correct.
So Philip, here's something that I've noticed in all this. I mean, going back to your whole take on why people end up in suspension and etc. And you seem to have a very conspiracy theory sort of take on that.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that question.
And now let me finish though.
Yeah.
I think you're wrong. I think that basically a majority of the people who were put on suspension, and this is just my humble opinion, is because of their names.
Actually, Al, I agree with you because we do have a Republican appointed Secretary of State here in the state of Texas, which actually she was never, ever really confirmed by the Senate.
Well, he can't be. He can't be. He's facing an indictment.
You have to be confirmed by the Senate to take your position here in the state of Texas, just like any other state. She never got confirmed.
Let me add my reason why I've been here. I've been there in person. I was still the county chairman for Caldwell County. My counterpart was with me, was sitting there in the office of the county election administrator. She received a phone call. We're just sitting about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Cindy received the phone call. And she whispered, Secretary of State's office. Now, a couple of cycles back, Greg Abbott was trying to appoint his scheduler to be the acting city secretary, acting secretary of state. I can't remember who it was. Rick Perry. It might be Rick Perry. We're trying to appoint their scheduler as the acting secretary of state. But that had not yet been confirmed by the Senate. So she said, the election minister said, "Oh, the elections secretary of state's calling, and they're going to talk about purging votes." So she didn't tell the secretary of state that both myself and the Republican county chair were sitting in her office, and she put on speakerphone. And lo and behold, that particular office provided information that basically illegally remove people from the polling from the polls. I mean, from the poll list. I couldn't believe it that they actually confirmed it. So I reported this incident to the state party. They in turn put me in contact with the party's attorney, and I explained to them what I heard, said, and who was in the phone call, and identified the Secretary of State's office. At the same time, this thing happened in Medina County. One of the names that they purged off the list was the actual county sheriff from Medina County. Now, she was removed off the list because they couldn't find records of her, supposedly. And you know why? She was she moved from England as a British citizen, became a U.S. citizen. She was English, but she was the county chair. She got removed because supposedly is fraudulent information on her part. There was a lawsuit filed. People involved with the party, the state party said, Philip, we're going to bring you in as a possible expert witness, but we want you to show up at federal district court in San Antonio. So I had to go get ready to go federal district court in San Antonio as a potential star witness for the Democratic Party. In place was there at the party was the state Republican Party's attorneys, the Republican County Chair's attorneys, the Attorney General's office, the governor's office, the Democratic Party attorney, the Mexican American Legal Defense Fund attorneys, the attorneys for the LULAC, which is the United States United Citizens Latin American Citizens group, their attorney, and met with the federal district judge to discuss this issue. Lo and behold, while I'm sitting in a waiting room, our county election administrator walks in, and she sits down with us, and I was instructed not to talk to anybody, say anything while you're here. She said, "Oh, they called me to come talk and testify with the Secretary of State's office." I said, "Oh, who?" And said, "Ask me why are you here." I'm just gonna listen in, but right now the courtroom's full. So when it finally had a recess, they brought her in. And this is an actual ruling, and this is what I'm gonna tell you about is in the actual ruling, is in district court order. Well, after lunch, we came in, the judge, they brought her in, the election administrator, and everybody still talked, and everybody just had finished having lunch. They swore her in. And the judge, he's a slick old devil, asked her, "Oh, I understand you're from Lockhart." "Oh, I am. What's the best barbecue?" So don't forget, she's under oath. She just started saying this place has better beans, this better sausage, better sauce, and on and on. And he asked little innocent questions. The attorneys for the Republican County Church Association was grabbing her chest because she was spilling all the guts. "Oh, I received a phone call from the Secretary of State's office. They told me to do this and do that, and so-and-so did this. They told me," and the Republican people asked for it, tried to intervene. The judge said, "Hold off." She kept on talking and talking and talking. She actually made the case against the Republican Party and against Abbott and the Attorney General's office and everything else. When they did not need me to be the expert witness when they came out, they came to talk to me because, "Philip, you didn't have to testify because the election administrator said everything you were going to say." And she basically put the nail in the coffin on that purge group that happened. And don't forget, right now each county is purging people on a regular basis monthly. Might be 6, 8, 20, 40, or how many people per day, per week. So we have to be aware of that. Now, what the judge said, and I'm going to use the lady's first name she said Pamela. When I was a small child, this district judge talking to her. When I went to kindergarten, they had this booklet where they trained children what to do. And the name of the book, and it's an actual book, it says, "What I learned what to do in kindergarten." There's a book to something to that effect. In that particular book, it says you're supposed to be nice, dress nice, wash your hands, flush the toilet. There's about 12 different items. And one of the items is you got to tell the truth and everything else like that. And in the final ruling, the judge ruled in behalf of the Democratic Party and the county chair from Medina County, everybody else, that the state secretary of state was wrong in purging people in the written district court order. There's something that if you read it, it says everything I learned in kindergarten, something like that. It's in the citation in the district order. But I thought it was unique. But that's my experience too. Are there some kind of conspiracy type things in some counties? Yes. Been there. Heard it personally.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Well,
Bob.
that sounds more like it wasn't necessarily the state that was, the county registrar that was being what's the creator of the conspiracy. It sounded like it came from a little higher up, which I think is true in most cases here.
Okay.
So, but it does sound like from that story that depending on who your county registrar is, can also have a lot of influence on the way things go in terms of voting in a county. I know that was true in Virginia. Depending on what county you ended up in or who, it was like day and night in the way people handled elections. Within the law, but there's a lot of leeway within the law.
Well, oh, Kristen, go ahead.
That's all right. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna note the time reminder that was given in the chat. I know it's getting late, and I know Rojo is a little preoccupied at the moment, so just wanted to see if there was any last thoughts or anything we wanted to share before hopping off tonight.
I do, Taylor. I do have the unfortunate news for anybody who is in Representative Mesa's area. She just had a loss in her family. So, if you are in her area, and you're by her office, call her office and send them some condolences. We at the TXPC, she was one of our speakers, and we allowed her the space to. She said she was sorry because she wasn't more upbeat, but she had just recently lost her brother. So I believe she's in HD 115.
Actually, 105.
Oh, I was off by 10. I'm sorry, Mike.
115 is actually where soon-to-be Congresswoman Julie Johnson needs to be at.
Ooh. Okay.
And now should be Cassandra Hernandez should be 115 now, coming up in this election. Hopefully, God willing, she gets it. But yeah.
I know we're ending it in a bad note, but I just thought, as this is IPC, we should know,
As opposed to all the other happy thoughts we've been
Oh yeah, all
discussing.
the conspiracy theories we were getting into us right now.
Well, let's hope for a good last 2 weeks and good results on election day. Because if not,
we know what the circumstances are. We know what's going to happen. We are going to become enemies of the state.
Yeah. So how many of us saw Trump's comments in Latrobe, Pennsylvania?
Which one? Which one of
Like
all
what
the sorry
comments?
ones?
Oh my goodness, he's just going off the
regarding Arnold Palmer and his golfing skills and
I heard
Oh my God! Really?
What hasn't that man said, grosero?
He is a lunatic.
So, did everybody send a happy 60th birthday card? Send a birthday card to our soon-to-be next president, since today is her birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yes, today's her birthday.
Hmm.
60th.
The day before early voting and the day of her speech at the convention was like her anniversary or something.
Something's always happening for her, right?
That's
Yeah.
it's all conspiracy theory. It was meant to be that.
Mhm.
Al, talking about things that we've heard Trump say, I was watching like a TikTok live recently, and he has started saying savage illegal aliens. And I don't think that's unintentional. And so that was a
Oh, no.
concerning add on to that. Like if somebody has been given the argument that they're everybody's indigenous here, they belong here. you know um I am concerned for that, but
Yeah.
You can definitely tell, I'm sorry, Al, you can definitely tell Madam Vice President's frustration on how people can still support him while he's literally saying all these gross and disgusting statements.
It almost seems like he's trying to, except that, when I think back, I had the same feeling the last election. Like it seemed like he was trying to intentionally lose the election, or it just because what he says is just so. I mean, he always says horrible stuff, and it's always sort of anti-American, because it's about a grievance and. But I mean, I mean, how can you have a town hall and listen to music for 40 minutes? I mean, what sane person would do that? How would you? I mean, all the other things he's been talking about, it's just all nuts. I mean, I really, don't care about what kind of a man Arnold Palmer was.
Or about his
But
appendages. In that statement, I will say,
Taylor, do you want to go ahead and close this out?
Yeah. Oh, yes, Mia, go ahead.
On Al's statement, I follow Breaking Points, and so Sagar was saying how basically he perceives it as it's a horrible comparison, but it makes a lot of sense. How Trump has basically become Papa in the Catholic faith. All you need to be is in his presence and you're fine. And I was like, it's just, that's what I'm saying about the 40 minutes of music. You literally, it has so much become a cult.
Yeah. Oh, it's
That all you need to be is in Trump's presence, because in that rally, as you saw, people were still leaving, people were still there. So you just need to be in his presence now to just feel him. And
I mean, it's just a lot of the stuff you see. Like I was driving around the other day and somebody had a big, one of those big banners on a pole kind of thing, and it said Trump going down. Now, somebody took the time, spent their personal money, took the time to have that made, and it's like, what other candidate would they do that for? Or would it, would you do that for any candidate? I don't think so.
there's one on Old 83 up and down the valley that literally says to vote for Trump, paid for by a patriot.
Yeah.
Probably the reason why his statements are getting weirder and weirder. I was listening to this theory that essentially they want the rhetoric that people who are listening to him are following him to get weirder and weirder, because then it'll continue to isolate his base, and it'll be harder and harder for them to reconnect with their family or their friends or their community, and that causes them to be more trapped in the cult. Mia, you're saying something, but you're muted.
No, I'm agreeing with you. It's basically cultism. That's basically what they're doing. It's kind of like next I expect them to go to El Paso and all drink punch.
Oh my God, I was just
Yeah,
thinking about that. I was like, when is the next Ruby Ridge? Where is the Waco of it all? I mean, are we expected to have another Oklahoma City bombing? It is really concerning. It is actually very, very.
Well,
I mean, it's I don't know.
Or
how
maybe
to-
they'll go to Area 51 and try to find the aliens, and when they don't, they'll drink the punch.
I would be okay with the aliens, but I honestly don't know how to I don't know how to phrase this because we're being recorded, but I have
One thing to watch out for, so like when I was in Midland and January 6th was happening, there were people there was one guy who was in like the next neighborhood over was marching around in full gear with his gun out. So I would for sure just, whether things go well for us in the election or poorly for us in the election, either way, I would be
We
safe.
had somebody in the 2020 election show up with Aaron showed up with an automatic?
No, it was 26,
No.
it was 2016.
Was it 20? No, it was 2020.
No, because Ms. Monica won in 2020.
Oh.
No, you're right. It was Jordan.
But he showed up with a what?
He showed up with a 9mm.
Oh, a 9mm. A really big one. At our polling site.
Oh no, you're talking about those two guys that came with.
No,
with
but
the
and
M16.
then an M16 Bethel was here and they showed up telling him to take their guns. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, no matter how the election goes, there's going to be a certain amount of insanity.
On that note, Taylor.
Are you saying I'm crazy? No. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you all for the great discussion this evening. Happy voting and talk to y'all soon.
Take care.
Yeah.
Self-care, guys, please. I beg and I ask self-care.
if you guys vote and want to tag IPC, you can do that online or on Facebook or Instagram.
That's a great idea.
You guys have a good night. Oh wait,
Good night.
sorry, there's supposed to be a motion.
Good night, everyone.
I already said no. I said meeting
No.
adjourned.
Yeah, I think that whoever's in charge can
Good
just
night,
adjourn.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.